Today topic is addressing and socket programming. So in socket programming, before going into the topic socket programming, we need to know what is meant by addressing. So in addressing, we are having four types. One is physical address, and the next logical address, port address, and specific address. So physical address means it is the lowest level address, and it also referred as link address. The physical address of a node is defined by its LAN or WAN. LAN means local area network, WAN means wide area network. Its full and full depend upon the physical address only. The physical address is included in the frame by the data link layer. So we are having a data link layer. So the physical address is going to included with the frame in the data link layer, and the size and format of physical address vary depend on the network. It has authority over the network, and a data link layer that frames contains physical link address in the header itself. Data link layer at sender receives data from upper layer, and it can be encapsulate the data in the frame and then add an header and a trailer. So we are going to send the original data. So from a sender side to receiver side, in between we are going to add a header as well as we are going to add a trailer. So only the station have matched address with destination address accepts the frames. So that frame is checks the header and the trailer are dropped, and the data is decapsulated and delivered to the upper layer. So it is comes from a physical address. So in this, where the sender is having data is called 18 and 27. So 18 is the destination address, and then 27 is the source address. So in between we are going to include the physical address, and then our destination number is 18. So in between we are having nodes means it will be discarded, and then if we are going to send the 18th node, the data will be successfully delivered. And the next one is logical address. So in logical address, it is a independent of underlying physical network. So since different networks can have different address format, have a universal address system, so it can be identify each host uniquely, irrespective of underlying physical networks. So here logical address are necessary for universal communication. So it is a 32-bit address which uniquely defines host connected to the internet. So physical address changes from home to home, but the logical address usually remains the same only. And then third one is port address. So port address range is 0 to 65,535. The IP address and physical address are necessary for data to travel from source to destination, but a communication process involves here telnet and FTP, which requires address. So in TCP/IP architecture, the label assigned to a process is called the port address. In TCP/IP, the port address is of 16-bit, and then here we are going to see IP address is 192.168.1.101, and then the port address will be 78. This two will be included means on that time we are going to use a socket programming. And then last one is specific addresses. So specific address are designed by user for some application. For example, we are going to connect with the Anna University .edu, and the universal resource URL. Universal resource locator is called as a URL. So that URL will be connected with the email address is called as a specific address here. So the first example defines the recipient of email. So example xyz at gmail.com, and then next one is we are going to see the Gmail www.annauniversity.com. So this is a two example we are used in a document. So it will be find a document on a www. The specific address gets changed to corresponding port and logical address by the station or host who sends it. So it is comes under a specific address. Now we are going for a socket programming. So socket programming mainly used for to enable the communication between source and destination. We are going for a socket, and then client and server establish connection and communicate via socket only. Socket are the endpoint of internet communication. Connections are communication links that are created over the internet using only transmission control protocol. Some client server application are also built around the connectionless UDP. So some sockets are using TCP concept and some socket are using a UDP concept. So these application also use socket to communicate, and the create client socket and the unconnected to them to the server socket. So socket are associated with host address and the port address. So by the help of host address and post address only, we can able to associate the socket. The host address is the IP address of the host where the client and server program is loaded. The port address is the communication port used by the client or server program. So server program use the well-known port number associated with their application protocol. A client communicate with the server by establishing a connection to the socket of the server. The client and server then exchange data over the connections only. So and then we are going to import the socket by using this line only. So import socket s is equal to socket dot socket and socket dot af inet and socket stream. So this is AF is meaning of after fragment. So internet network. So this line is used for the creating the socket. So this is the first parameter we have used here, and then this is the second parameter we are using by the reference of IPv4 family. IPv4 is nothing but internet protocol version 4. So a socket stream means connection oriented TCP protocol. So the where the family identifies the family by address or protocol only. The address family identifies a collection of protocol with the same address format, while the protocol family identifies a collection of protocol having a same type of architecture only. So the protocol identifies the SOC stream, and it is the one of the type to provide data delivery service as sequence bytes and does not preserve message boundaries. So after a socket is created, the bind system call can be used to assign an address to the socket. So it is also a one of the protocol. So and then we are using a SD means it is a socket descriptor. So it will be written the socket call. In the name of pointer, we are having an address structure that contains the local IP address and a port number. So the bind system call returns 0 on success and -1 on a failure. So a client establish a connection on a socket by calling connect. The prototype is connect, and then parameter of function connect prototype is same as bind, and then for a connection oriented, connect attempts to establish a virtual circuit between client and a server. So this is an example diagram for connecting a socket. So here we are having host X, and then we are having a web server. In between we are going to connect the socket here. So a connection oriented server indicates its response to receive connection request by calling a listen the prototype. So we are having two types of socket here. First one is datagram socket and second one is stream socket. So datagram socket means it is a connectionless point for sending and receiving the packets. So it is similar to mailbox only. So the letters are posted into the box, are collected and delivered to a letter box. It is called as a socket concept. And then stream concept means it is a connection oriented, and then it will be a sequenced one, and then we can able to follow we can able to have a unique flow of data without record boundaries means we are not going to fix any boundaries for this. So by the help of TCP we are going to provide some connection oriented. So this is an example diagram for how we are connecting the server and connect client. So this is the function we are going to use in the server: socket, bind, listen, accept, receive, send and close. And then in client section we are having a socket, connect, send, receive and close. So here we are going to use accept. For server can accept the connection request after a listen call only. The prototype for accept is accept int sd comma struct sock address and int address ln. So after that we are going to use a close here. After this, client and server transmit data using write and read system call. If the socket is not used for a long time, socket is closed by using close system call. The prototype of close is int close. So if socket is closed successfully, it returns 0, otherwise -5 1 for failure. So it is in this we have finished the socket programming. And the next one, this is the diagram for client. So we are first thing we are going to see how to create a socket, and second thing set up the server address, and third thing is connect to the server, and then fourth one read and write the data and then shut down the connection. So this is from client side. So create a socket and then we are going to set up the server address. We already discussed about what is meant by server address also. And then we are going to connect the server, and then after that, after connecting the server, we are going to read and write the data, and then after that we are going to shut down the connection. Shutdown is nothing but closing the connection. And the next one is, this is a function call we are going to use in a socket. So first thing is socket function. It is used to create a socket. And then bind, I already told you that bind is used for identification. So here we are going to use like a telephone number. For a contact we are having a telephone number, right? So by the help of telephone number only we can able to identify. So the is by so only we are going to use a bind function here. And then listen function, we are having in a ready state to receive a connection, means that is called as a listen function. And then connect function means you are ready to act as a sender, it comes under a connect function. And the next one is accept. After confirmation, it is like accepting to receive a call from a sender. And then write function is used to send the data. And then to receive the data we are using a read function, and to close the communication or connection we are going to use a close function here. And then this is the server high level view. So first thing we are going to see here is create a socket, and after that we can bind the socket and listen for connection, and then accept new clients, and then we are going to read and write to the client connection, and then last we are going to shut down the connection. So I already told you that first we need to create a socket, and then next thing we are going for a bind function here. So the bind system call can be used to assign an address to the socket. And then listen function is used to, so the connection oriented server indicates its response to receive connection request by calling listen the prototype only. And then accept, and then last one is read and write connection, and then shut